Or, sorry, the third, fourth place match. kashu versus SneazeL. 시작하겠습니다.
You drive me crazy.
Alright, we are good to go. Looks like the first map is going to be Destination, and spawning as the purple Zerg in the 12 o'clock position, we will have kashu. And as the yellow Protoss in the 6 o'clock, we will have SneazeL.
Yes, indeed. This should be a pretty epic matchup, and of course, both of us are well versed in the knowledge of PvZ, so this is going to be like playing to our strong point pre-final. So it's going to be pretty sexy.
Indeed. And if you could just continue to talk a little bit, because I'm messing around with my fancy new overlay.
Yeah, no problem. So right away, we don't see any 4-pull stuff. We don't see any super early probe going out. Probe going out at the standard time, heading straight along to the natural of SneazeL. I presume he's going to lay down a pylon in a pretty standard position. Actually, BC Wall-in can be a little bit tricky on Destination. I mean, you've got quite a weirdly shaped little natural expansion, so you've really got to do your homework. But he lays down the pylon and heads out onto the map.
Indeed.
In order to fully discover what's going on in kashu's base.
And you know, the most annoying thing about this wall off, besides the fact that it's kind of, or rather, it's very easy to mess it up, is the fact that the standard 2 cannons oftentimes won't cover your gas there at the natural.
Yeah,
so
I
Lynx
often
can quite
have
easily
that
run
trouble.
there and hit it from the top side, so you often need a third cannon to defend that. It's obviously not something you want to build early on. Anyway, it looks like we have an overpool from kashu here. And kashu, he's also taking a gas. Now, I don't know if he actually picked Zerg for this game, or if he went random.
Drone.
He is
Drone going around
oh,
the
I'm sorry.
back.
So it was a 9-pool. Sorry, it was a 9-pool with Gastric. But yeah, kashu's a random player, but I believe his strongest race is Zerg. So yeah, I don't know if he actually picked Zerg or not.
We're actually going to get some mining out action around the back of the mineral line to unlock that second ramp up into SneazeL's base. SneazeL now scouting into kashu's main. So that probe heading out to make the cannon just missed seeing that drone, so it was actually not observed. We need to keep it mining, but if SneazeL doesn't actually spot this, it could be a really big problem, especially since he hasn't gone any kind of gateway first craziness or anything. He's laid down 2 cannons at his front, so he's not really going to have the minerals to throw up another pylon, another cannon back at home. But he does spot the drone, there it is, and let's see how he responds to this.
Indeed, it was interesting because just now the drone actually bugged out for a second. I think depending on where exactly you mine this mineral patch from, if you mine it from the bottom left, you actually lose vision onto the high ground and the drone stops mining. You actually have to go right into this little nook here in the corner, and it looks like the probe actually just blasts it from the other side of the mineral patch. Probes do actually have 2 range. They are the most baller of the 3 races workers, so yeah, that's the end of that threat. I mean,
yeah, he's able to lay down the Nexus at a totally 100% lovely standard timing, and he proceeds as usual. And that's exactly what you should do. If you spot the drone mining out, you can just do a cheeky little trick. Just take your probe all the way up to the minerals and press stop, and it will naturally attack the drone. You'll be able to fend that kind of rubbish off pretty easily.
and it looks like the initial drone actually drew all of the Zerglings back chasing it, and the second probe is actually snuck around the side and is going to get into the base. Now, kashu seems to be going for some kind of 2-hatch play here. He hasn't sent a drone out yet to take his third base. His gas is about to finish. So I'm not sure what he's planning.
Pretty big deal. Yeah. So SneazeL's going to be seeing everything here, and now the links start coming back, but this is really pretty late, and I expect SneazeL will be able to prepare really quite thoroughly for any kind of cheese. So right away, kashu in a spot of bother, losing that drone early on, not a particularly big deal, but a bit of a pain in the ass. And now another pretty major blow, letting that probe into his base.
Well, kashu's been sitting at about 400 minerals for a while now. I'm not really sure why he doesn't make another hatchery somewhere. If he doesn't want to take third base, he can just make it in his main. He really should make a third hatchery, I think. I don't understand this. Look, he's still at 400 minerals. For the last minute or so, he's been at 400. I'm really confused. He's been
pretty bizarre. He
floating
must be
300
saving
400. Also, this Protoss wall, it looks a little bit weird to me. Is this actually the standard wall? It looks non-standard, actually.
Well, what I usually do, I don't know if what I do is standard either, but the pylon goes 2 hex upwards from that. The forge goes in the same place. The gateway shifts over to above the forge, and then you get a nice tight block between the gateway and the forge.
Yeah, exactly. I think usually, yeah, you're right. The gateway should be tight with the forge, but in this case, I mean, this wall seems to be okay. He's left a nice gap for his goons to get out, and the rest of it seems pretty. Well, it looks nice and organized, but just unusual.
Yeah,
it looks like it's going to be a Hydra bust. We do have Hydra range going down, so Kashu going to lead off with a 2-hatch Hydra bust here.
Oh.
After his failed 9 pool mining out the back minerals. Gonna follow it up with some more cheese. And
I think that this is pretty strong on destination because, in fact, the Hydras can get all the way over those bridges before they reach any cannons, and oftentimes they can range out the Nexus even and the gas. So it's really a pretty strong build on this, and it costs the Protoss so much. Like you said, already throwing up another pylon in that good position just to make sure in front of his Nexus, but it'll cost him a lot in throwing up all those extra cannons, even more than he'd usually have to.
Now, there are 3 Zerglings blocking each bridge here, so there's no way for SneazeL to see what's coming. I wonder if he's going to put down any cannons in front just for safety, but even if he does, I don't know if it'll be enough. As you said, these cannons are quite far back from the choke point there, so the Hydras can just waltz right over.
That's always the trouble, isn't it, on destination?
Sorry, what?
I mean, yeah, that's always the trouble on destination. It's just a complete nightmare to defend against Hydra bursts. That's why you see a lot of Sarah Reaver type play on this map, I guess, but also because there's a lot of good routes around the edge, but yeah.
Indeed, and the Lings are leading the way, denying the Probe Scout. The Courser is going to get out just as the Hydras come. That is the timing. So he's going to see it. He's going to have to build some emergency cannons. The Lings are actually going after the Dragoon. They're going to get the Dragoon. No, they barely don't get the Dragoon. But SneazeL, how's he going to defend this? It looks like he's just going to buy time with his units here, building some cannons in front of his Nexus. Looks like all the units do go down, though. And 7 Hydralisks on the way. Probes are coming off the line. Can he block on the bridges? The probe's dying so quickly here.
These would have had to be some insane ninja probes right now because he can't even drill at this point. He hasn't got any vision on any of the Zerg's mineral lines, so he's just throwing in probes, and he's going to lose all his probes there. He already has. He's going to lose both of these cannons trying to warp in, and I think that this is just a pure strategy win right now for Kashu. And SneazeL just wasn't careful enough, throwing up a pylon behind Kashu's mineral line in the hope of doing some kind of cannon trickery. But he'd be really hard pressed to get back into this now.
Looks like his Corsair is also going to go down here. So, oh no, that was the second Corsair actually. First Corsair does get an Overlord kill, but it doesn't really matter. He's lost most of his probes here. Barely got even one per patch left. So I mean, even if
he's throwing up some more cannons.
Even if he somehow survives this, he's still in a pretty terrible position. Although, I mean, you know, Kashu's eco is pretty terrible. Obviously going for the 2-hatch Hydra, but it looks like it doesn't matter. SneazeL, no real way to hold off all these Hydras. The cannons all going down. Only 1 Zell left. The Probe's coming off the line. Probe's not so good against Mass Hydra. And
as we've already seen.
GG from SneazeL. So Kashu takes the first game here in the 4th place match.
I think that SneazeL might have been better advised to go for a Reaver build in that situation. He knew that there was some kind of crazy build coming at him, so that would have allowed him to get plenty of Corsairs to have Reavers out just about in time for a Hydra bust.
Do they really get out in time for a 2-hatch bust though?
Maybe not for a 2-hatch bust.
I think that's still a little bit slow. You really just gotta sniff it out.
Just gotta scout hard.
I mean, personally, like I always have trouble with that kind of thing, playing against a 9 pool into some kind of cheese, because it's so hard to scout, especially if they get Zergling speed.
That's an absolute nightmare situation.
Yeah, I think the only real thing for him to do was, after seeing the 9 pool and then seeing Kashu block off his bridges like that, probably should have just immediately thrown down some cannons just for safety.
Yeah.
But anyway, let us go into game number 2.
Alright.
And the map is going to be Rush Hour 3.1. Pretty old map, pretty ridiculous map. But